full names are Dr. Iram Shabir, and sorry, my title is a bit difficult to read, but basically I'm a breast specialist. So we, in the medical field, they call us a breast oncoplastic surgeon. So I specialize in all sorts of breast conditions, but I do the surgical aspect of the breast diseases. So when any form of surgery is required for breast cancer or for even non-cancerous lesions in the breast, then I'm the sort of doctor that you would be looking for.
Mashallah. Maybe before someone does surgery, before someone becomes abnormal, I understand that breast cancer is abnormality in breast cells, right? So maybe before we get into breast cancer, what is the structure of a normal and healthy breast?
Yes. So, well, if we look at the breast, it lies in our chest cavity, as we all know it.
Yes.
And males have breasts as well as females. And if you look at the cross-section or the inside of the breast, it has what we call the glandular component and the stromal component. So basically the breast is a gland, and its purpose is to produce milk for lactation. And it has two components. The glandular component is the one that produces the milk. And the glandular component has two main components inside it. Those are the lobules and the ducts.
Okay.
So the lobules is where the milk, they're packets kind of thing, where the milk is made. And then that milk gets carried to the nipple through what we call pipes or the ducts. So in a normal breast, we have around 15 to 20 lobules, and likewise we have around 15 to 20 ducts that carry that milk to the nipple. So that's the glandular component. Then we have the support structures that support the glands and the tubules, and that we call the stromal component. And the stromal component is made up of mostly collagen fibers and some fatty tissue. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what the breast is all about.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Now, our viewers back at home are worried about breast cancer. Many people take it as a killer disease.
Yes.
And it is a killer disease indeed.
Yes.
So maybe define for us what breast cancer means.
Yes. So, well, generally women do fear breast cancer, and they have a very good reason why they fear the breast cancer, because in the past the mortality or the deaths related to breast cancers were very high. So people have that mindset that if you have cancer of any form, including breast cancer, then it's a death sentence for you. But now in today's world, a lot has changed. We have a lot of different modes of treatments that have come up. And good news for us is that most of the cancers now, including breast cancer, is being identified way earlier, and we are able to treat almost 60 to 70% of the breast cancers that we see in our clinics.
So what is a breast cancer?
So breast cancer is basically, so the problem with cancer starts in the cells.
Okay.
Not just breast, but any form of cancer. It starts with the cell cycle. So normally our cells divide as we grow. And if that division gets affected because of any reason, because of any form of mutation that can occur in our genomic component, that is the DNA or the RNA, then we can have the cells, instead of multiplying at a regular basis, they become metaplastic, which means that they divide very, very fast, more faster than the normal rate of cell division. And so because they're dividing so fast, what is getting produced from those cells are abnormal cells, which can't do any good. They only cause harm. And that is why most cancers present with growths, because of the cells growing so fast in our body.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for that clear explanation. I was reading a certain article from the World Health Organization, and it says about 2.3 million people worldwide were diagnosed with breast cancer. About 670 people worldwide by 2022 died because of breast cancer. It is one of the most disease that is feared by men, by women, being as a death sentence. But now my question is, how can someone at home know what breast cancer is? Tell us the signs and symptoms of breast cancer.
Yes, thank you. That's a very good question, and I think it's important to know. Of course, most breast cancers present with a lump in the breast, but also I would like our audience to appreciate that not every lump in the breast is breast cancer. So if a lady feels a lump in her breast, she must not get anxiety. She must approach a reasonable hospital and get it checked up, because it might be cancerous or it might be benign as well. And by benign I mean maybe it's not a cancerous lesion. But apart from that, we have to appreciate that apart from the lump, breast cancer can present in other forms as well. So ladies can get some nipple discharge, and most of the time the nipple discharge is bloody, but it does not always have to be bloody. Sometimes it appears with the skin thickening, so the breast skin really becomes thickened, and because of that thickening, it appears like an orange what we call purely orange appearance. So it just appears like an reddish ball-like breast that is becoming harder compared to the other breast. So these are some of the other ways, or it can just present with an ulcer on the breast that is not healing. So these are some of the other ways it can present with. Okay.
From your definition, you say that this occurs when a healthy breast cells becomes abnormal.
Yes.
What are the causes? And maybe we talk about the risk factors of breast cancer.
Yes. So Qasim, when we talk about the risk factors, we can categorize them for easy understanding into those that are modifiable, which means we can change them.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on HorizonTV.
Ukipata matatizo, Mtume simama. Sio kudai kwamba mimi napenda Mtume sallallahu na kisha unaanza kuleta mambo ya bid'a. Utasikia hao ndugu zetu ukipata matatizo, kwanza wakisema Jesus Christ. Oh Jesus Christ. Ewe Isa nisaidia. Ndio maana yake. Nisaidia Isa. Na sisi leo tutapata baadhi ya Waislamu wakifikiwa na matatizo, neno la kwanza ya Rasulullah, wengine ya Ali, ya Hussein. Ilikuwa hofu yake kubwa ni kufunga ule mlango wa shirki. Unaona sahihi kwamba uchawi limekuwa ni jambo la kawaida katika jamii ya Kiislamu. Aina la ilaha illallah, iko wapi la ilaha illallah?
It's back. Get all the interviews that make the news as we discuss and tackle issues around policies, security, economy, and human rights. This and every Thursday only on Live Real Talk.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the Muslim Insight, our second segment. We're focusing on health, which is your wealth. In studio, I'm joined by Dr. Iram Khan, who is here to tell us about breast cancer. In our first segment, she talked about the causes of breast cancer, symptoms of breast cancer, and the definition of breast cancer. So, Daktari, before we took a very short break, I had requested you to tell us or highlight for us types of biopsy. So what are the types of biopsy?
Well, so the types of biopsies, I mean, biopsy is basically just taking a sample of the tissue, and the different types of biopsies are just named differently because of how we get that tissue. So what we normally do for breast lumps is take a core biopsy, and a core biopsy is the one I described earlier on, where you use a biopsy gun and get small tissue samples. But sometimes it becomes difficult to take the core biopsy, or the core biopsy doesn't give very good results because cancer is normally surrounded by a lot of dead tissue as well. So we might take a core biopsy and it just gives us a report of dead tissue. So then we can do something we call a wedge biopsy. And a wedge biopsy is basically we cut into a wedge shape, that is an inverted V shape, dip into the tissue bed so that we're able to overcome the dead tissue around the cancer and still get a sample of the cancer tissue itself, or the lump itself. And then now we can also do an excision biopsy sometimes. So an excision biopsy is when we normally just remove the entire lump and then we send that for histology and after removing the entire lump itself. So that's what we call an excision. So we can have a wedge, an incision, or a core biopsy. And sometimes we do take something we call an FNA, that's a fine needle aspiration. That's not really a biopsy, it's something we call a cytology, because that